Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Lesson Doing Classics. This is episode number 2414, episode number 2308. First, we're discussing here issues that were collected in Marvel Masterworks Incredible Hulk Volume 17, which collected 255, 268, well, 265 actually. I'll also discuss 260, 268 as well, along with annuals 10 and 11 for the series. Yes. First up, we have Thor versus Hulk for the opening issue. Yep. Oh, by the way, Bill Mansell writes all these issues with Sal Buscema on the artwork. Yep. Oh, there's something out running from town. I think I may discuss this issue already, but you have to deal with the whole thing with Thor in this issue here. Into 55, where this is now, we're getting basically toward an end of an era for character. Yes. Which one? You're about to find out. So in the case 256, we get the first appearance of Sebra. You're thinking, Sebra? Who the heck is Sebra? Sebra is a professional hero from Israel. Yes, she's an Israeli superhero. And she's still making appearances over the years. I think she's also classified as a mutant because she's had encounters with the X-Men. She has appeared not very much over the years. So technically, the first appearance wasn't 250, but this is more proper appearance to the character. Maybe because there's the first name appearance of the character. Yes. Aside from her, there's like nothing else interesting. Well, basically, it's like, yes, basically these issues. Now, here's the thing. A lot of these Hulk is outside the U.S. This issue, she's in Israel. In 257, they also have basically the first appearance of the War Wagon. The War Wagon was a ship utilized by Glenn Talbot to go look for the Hulk. Yes, and it's a prevalent thing here for like 4 issues. I think Brief makes a return a couple issues. One issue after, a few issues after that. Yep. And this is technically the start of that, and where it says introducing Arabian Night. He technically also made first appearance in 50 as well, but this is more of a pop appearance of the character. Because the Hulk is actually in Egypt now. Because first he's in Israel, now he's in Egypt. Okay. And then by 258, he's in Mother Russia. Yep. Where he's taking the Soviet super soldiers. Yep. And the members are Darkstar, Vanguard, Crimson Dynamo, and Ursa Major. Which, yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, they all speak with Russian accents. Those are the Cold War. And then we have where the team with them take on the Presence, the Red Guardian. Is it, well, it's a female Red Guardian. Yep. Well, Professor Phobius. I think this is his debut, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, his previous appearance here. Yeah, he's here for this issue and the previous issue. He pops again in ROM, and that was it for him. There's also a backup story in this one, too. Well, it's mostly just a reprint. Yep, and then 260, sadly put, is the end of Glenn Talbot. And he's killed over Japan. Yes. And of course, Hulk has to basically like wonder why the heck this old man is. He's wondering like why is the old man defending this green statue, which is a statue of Buddha. And of course, the old man is shocked at the fact that the Hulk is so strong. But yeah, Glenn Talbot dies in 260. Yep, I'm not sure exactly why they decided to kill him off here, but I love the whole War Wagon. It's like a floating fortress for him, where he's like going around the world chasing the Hulk. This was a really cool concept, and then the War Wagon crashes. This was really cool. I love this whole idea of this. In fact, I've been going around for a few issues. I thought it was a really cool story arc. Yep, but yeah, then you see his corpse in the very next issue. You confirm that, yep, he dies. And then basically in 261, Hulk takes on the Absorb Man, who last appeared in issue of Avengers. Yeah. Just about 2 years prior to that. And in 262, we have the first appearance of Glazer. Yes, this woman who's like covered in white in a glass house. This is her sole appearance. Yeah, I thought it was really weird. There's also this congresswoman named Ruth Manager, and this is her final appearance. Yeah. Then 263, we have the Hulk take on a group of people known as the Outcast, who are from the pages of Fantastic Four, who prior to this issue had appeared in March 2025. Yep. Also got the Mole Man. We have the resurrection of a guy called Knife Flyer, who gets killed off the very next issue. And then 264, he deals with the Corruptor. Yep. And then we have first appearance of a new team. We have new team brigaders appearing in issue 264. Then 265, we have the first appearance of the Rangers. Yes, the Rangers was comprised of Firebird, Knight Rider, Shooting Star, Texas Twister, and Red Wolf. Red Wolf. Which one is it? It's actually the one that Roy Thomas created for Avengers 80. Texas Twister was a character first pocket of Avengers. Roy Thomas created him. Shooting Star is a Bill Mantlo character. Nightcrawler, Hamilton Slade. He was a character from Ghostwave. He's actually a character by Michael Fisher. Yep. There's also Firebird. Yeah, the beautiful Firebird who later joins Alpha Flight. I thought she did. Nope. Yep. But yeah, first person. Basically, now, chronologically, first person spell it, but yeah, Shooting Star. Yeah, at one point, there was a member called Armadillo who she had to kick out of the group for, get this, touching her breasts when he was drunk. Yes, seriously. She seriously did this. She kicked the Armadillo for that very reason, because he dared get drunk, and she kicked him off the team because of that. And here's the thing. The Rangers are still around. Mostly they operate in the Southwest. Mostly. Yeah. Yeah, and after this issue, they appeared in one more issue of Hulk afterwards. And pretty much their appearances were sporadic. And then they popped up for 3 issues. The most proper appearance after this issue is actually in 3 issues of Scarlet Spider. Their last appearance was in Captain America Volume 7, number 25. We're not done yet. Well, next comes Avengers. Next comes Hulk A number 10. We have Captain Universe possessing Bruce Banner. Yep, that was an interesting idea. And then we have the High Evolutionary show up in 266. Yes, the High Evolutionary. Yep. Because basically he's in New Mexico, like, High Evolutionary, like, wait, he's not able to go here? Nope, not here at all. And then we deal with the Shaper of Worlds and Gorin. Gorin is a character created by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Jerry Conway, and John Buscema. Yeah. He has been basically to describe this guy, he's like Marvel's version of Mr. Miracle, kind of. He last appeared back in Incredible Hulk 191. And after this, he returned in 353. There's also the Shaper of World, this robot. Yes, a freaking robot. Who looks like basically he's an alien robot is basically what he is. Yeah, and he last appeared in this very book, also in 291 as well. His next appearance being Captain America in number 7. Then in 268, mostly probably the first appearance of Pariah. A skeleton guy who appears for 1 issue. Yep. But what about A number 11, you might ask? Because basically we discussed that one as well. A number 11 is simply put the Hulk with the Avengers taking on the Leader. It basically, the best way to describe the annual, it's basically Hulk versus Leader and Avengers just happily there. Yeah. It feels like this could have been like a regular issue of Avengers. They just had the Avengers of Hulk, but it was basically extended to be an annual because it included the Avengers. They want to make a big story. The end itself was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The first player is also Ricky Kilgun, who is a woman who apparently had a thing for the leader. Oh, apparently, classmate Bruce Banner. She only appeared for this one story, and that was it. Lily previously appeared. No, that's not it. Let's see. The Larry's previous appearance as part of this Hulk annual was actually back in Incredible Hulk 225. His next appearance will be in 277, which we'll discuss that in a later review. Yep. Great set of issues. The Marvel Masterworks also collected the 3-issue miniseries Contest of Champions, the original version of the story, but I'm not discussing it because they actually have their own individual trade for that one. So, by the way, give the Hulk issues a 10 out of 10. Alright, next up we have is of Marvel Masterworks Avengers Volume 21. Oh, and as for the case for the Hulk issues, if you're curious about what time period they came out in, let's see. It's basically October of 1980, and the last issue I've discussed here, well, aside from the annual, which was 268, that came out in November of 1981. Basically, almost, we're technically, this book is already in the 80s already, but we're almost out of the year of 1981. Now, with Avengers, very short amount of issues, this one. This, of course, okay, first, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay. So, for these issues for Avengers. Now, the issues themselves, we have Jim Shooter as the main writer for these issues, all but one issue. He does not write 223. That's Dave Michelini. He mostly is main writer for 217, 222, and 224. Actually, goes to 226, but basically, here it's about 220. He does 217, 222, and 224. Ben Mantle does the Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries. Bob Hall co-writes it with Jim Shooter for 217. The cover for 218 is Jim Tias. For 221, it is, cover to David Lee, who does solely for 223. Stephen Grant co-writes 222, does 225 and 226. And 224 is the co-writer for 224. Alan Zutt. And Bob Hall is your artist for 217 and 219 and 221. Greg LaRouque does 222, 223, and 225, 26. Rick Lenardi does the Vision Hall Scarlet Witch miniseries. 218 is Don Perlin. Mark Bright does 214, 224. And also there's Avengers Annual as well, which I've kind of discussed already. The Annual is simply Nebulon's last appearance in comics. He gets cut off of the story. And of course, the book itself covers time period of March 1982 and conclude in December 1982. The first issue features her in the Yellow Jacket, obviously. Sadly put, this comic here is also the penultimate appearance of Trixie Starr, the niece of Elias Starr, aka Egghead, because she makes one appearance after this, and then she never appears in comics ever again. Her uncle returns after that appearance, but she doesn't. Does she die? No. She just stopped appearing. So most point in the case, 217, aside from the fact this is just the return of Yellow Jacket, it just Avengers deal with a robot which is near them. Of course, you have Hank Pym, who's desperate because he's broke because Jan left him with nothing. So, of course, basically stuff with Trixie Starr here. Of course, Hank reunites with Trixie. Now, here's the thing between Trixie and Hank Pym. Hank Pym is clearly older than she is because Hank is about the same age as her uncle. But Hank does not see her as a potential girlfriend, per se. They're just friends. And he's like, I don't know, like 10 years older than she is. He's like, what, at this point, probably in his 30s. And she is like 20s-ish. So, in this issue, Hank comes up with a new arm for her. Yep. A brand new arm because she lost the arm. Her uncle did that to her. So, yeah, and of course you have, well, Yellow Jacket and the Avengers, and then of course he gets, well, taken in. And then we have where 218, where this kid is about to shoot himself in the head. Yes. Oh, by the way, issue 17 is also noteworthy the first appearance of McKenna Marauder, whose real name is Fabian Stankovic. Yeah, this guy also at one point became a recurring character in Captain America. I forgot to mention this guy. But yeah, Mark Greenwald basically loved featuring this character up until around 272-ish. He basically came in at 252. Most about recurring, and then he left with 253. 283 came back for a couple more issues afterwards, and then he came back for 4 weeks. It was there pretty much up until the final issue of the run of Mark Greenwald. He came back 2 more times after that, and that's it. Basically, I've covered like this guy's almost all of his appearances, and this comic here, which was interesting enough, was his debut. He next appears in 221. 218 mostly plays basically deals with a mutant known as the Forever Man. From the pages of Spider-Woman, who basically turns to a kid, turns to an adult. Yeah, and here's the thing about him. After this one issue, this is his last appearance in comics. He never appears ever again after this. Not really. Though he kind of appears for the next issue in a flashback. 219 is basically the Avengers team with Drax Destroyer, who's been brainwashed by Moondragon. Moondragon, if you're really curious though, when she first showed up in comics, it was an issue of Iron Man, when she was Madame McEvil. Became Moondragon Jet of 105. Yeah, and here's the thing. Moondragon is Drax's daughter. Yes. And then 220, we do have more of that here, where Drax apparently dies and shit, but don't worry, he comes back. In the Avengers Annual 16. Yep. Really cool stuff here. And then we have where we have sort of possibly this recruitment drive. And we have 2 new people join the team. Hawkeye, who rejoins the team with this issue, and She-Hulk. Yep, and Famous, of course, returns to this issue. Yep, and potential recruits. Here they are potential recruits. Spider-Man, Invisible Girl, Dazzler, Spider-Woman, and Black Widow. Invisible Girl will not join the group until issue 300. Spider-Man will later become a reservist and become a full-time member in the 2000s. Dazzler never becomes a member of the team. Spider-Woman does become a member of the team in 2008. Black Widow will eventually return to the team, mostly. I love the cover here. 222, it's mostly put basically the Avengers versus first time in a long time, the Masters of Evil. Yep. The Whirlwind quits team after this issue. And mostly put, this issue sets up basically toward the end of the era for Elias Starr. Yep. And then very next issue, we have Hawkeye team up with Scott Lang take on Taskmaster in 223. Okay, there we go. And by the way, the image on the cover is Hawkeye putting Hank Pym on his arrow. This is something that would actually be used for, I think it was Avengers Civil War. It was Captain America Civil War, yes. Then 224, Hank Pym's in jail, and of course has to deal with Egghead. And issue on the 225 is basically Black Knight returns in the story. Yep, and Dr. Drew's here. We also first appearance of the former, yes, this super beings who only appear 7 times. Because after this, they appear in the following issue, and then they pop up mostly in Black Knight comics. Yes. And then, of course, they're in the following issue, where they have a character named Armageddon, who's just this guy who appeared in the previous issue. He gets killed off here. And yeah. Really cool stuff here. Oh, yeah, but apparently also, there's this guy named Edward Gunter who basically was possessed by Dan Waltman. He apparently was found dead in Black and Exodus #1. That was his confirmed death there. Yeah. But that's Vision Scarlet Witch. This is a series done by, of course, Bill Manslow. Mostly, but it's them basically trying to establish a home life, and you could say this book was kind of the loose inspiration for WandaVision. Yep. This guy called Shamahan basically possesses kids to attack Vision Scarlet Witch at their home in wherever this is. Yeah, then we have the return of the Wizard, who actually sadly dies in this issue. Yes, the Wizard dies in issue #2. We also return of his son, Nuko. Yeah, there's also this miniseries infamous for revealing that, get this, this was later retconned stupidly by Recommender, though he probably was told to do this. You see, in this miniseries, it's revealed that Magneto is the father of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, thus also making him Luna's grandfather. Yep. Yeah, a guy who did not want to be a father, but yeah. And this was basically confirmed for years. The fact that Magneto was their father until 2015. Actually, 2014 with the Axis event, where was another retcon revealing that, well, he's not their father, even though he really is. Yeah, this whole thing was revealed issue #4. Yeah. And apparently, like, yeah, this is something that was later retconned years later. Like, her mother is Natalia Maximoff. Yeah, they confirmed that, and of course the one thing apparently that they've been very confused with over the years is exactly like who the heck their parents are, because they just keep changing their minds about it. Yep. Oh yeah, and also she can confirm that Vision was actually sort of like her niece. Because of course basically her mother is based upon brain patterns of her. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for particular view. Stay tuned for next view, which will be One Piece. Okay? Next view. Bye.